Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to play with the new Natasha Denona Bloom palette. Now I'm very excited that finally she released this palette all over the world so everyone can enjoy it, everyone can buy it and make the review, because sometimes with Natasha Denona here the news comes a little bit later, so when I'm doing a review for her no one is actually interested because it passed, it's like 2 weeks later. So yeah, I'm very excited. It's like 5 minutes of sun, let's say, and I did swatches outside. Now please take a look of this cover that Natasha Denona herself actually crafted in her atelier. It is looking really gorgeous. It's screaming spring, but for me it's screaming like another kind of love eyeshadow palette or Valentine's palette. It is a very kind of warm palette in my opinion. Now these eyeshadows are made in Italy. They have 24 months of shelf life. You get 15 eyeshadow, and in total we have 17.75 grams of product. Now I did swatch this outside. I want to say that they swatch pretty well all the shades, but I'm not as enthusiastic about the shimmers in here as in other palettes. Of course, the one that I'm more excited it is the last one, which is called Equinox. That one shifts beautifully and it kind of reminds me of another kind of eyeshadow. Now for today's video I actually will do some makeup looks, and in the following days, or if you have any suggestion for like comparison this one with other palettes, and if I have them in my collection, please write me in the comments so I will do it. Of course, a lot of these shades will look alike or very similar with other Natasha Denona eyeshadows from other palettes, but of course the formula are not going to be the same, and they are never identical. I never found two eyeshadows that are completely identical every time that I do comparison. So that being said, for today's video it will be swatches in direct sun, and then I will see if I will do 2 or 3 makeup looks with this one. Now to be honest, this is not a very enthusiastic palette for me in terms of color story, just because I don't tend to use these colors too much. I'm more on the green, purples, or brown khaki kind of coppery shades. This one are more in a way peachy. I will say there are some pinks in here, but and it is one which is more like a reddish, but more on the peachy side. We will play with the colors. Now we have 3 of the base, with these two looks peachy, this looks like a pink. I don't know how they will look on the eyes. Of course these are more like to even your lids. I don't usually create more like matte eyeshadow looks, so we'll be playing with what we have in here. The first look, it is this one from here. I will take Ren, and I hope I pronounce this nice, and I will apply that all over the lid. Now this on me it looks a little bit pink, kind of peachy shade, and when I take it from the pan it is a little bit kind of dusty. Now I want to keep this eye looks very simple. I will go with this other shade which is called Rue. I will take it a little bit with my finger and I will just go on top of that. So this will be the most easiest kind of simple pink. I will say it is a pink with a little bit maybe of copper, but it is more on the pink side shade. It does look beautiful, but again it is not on my soul, let's say. I want to take Clover from here, and I will apply that here on the edges. Now I want to say that these eyeshadows are dusty. Here they are dusty. This one, even when I take it with they don't feel as creamy as Natasha Denona other eyeshadows, like the previous palettes, to be honest. And the mattes also feel like dusty. And yeah, you have to be careful. They blend really okay, I would say. So I took that clover here to the out of corner, let's say to the out of corner, and then under. And this is the pinkish kind of berry look. Now I will take again this rouge shade. I wouldn't say that this sparkles as I would expect it. So these are a little bit dusty here when I take it from the pan, and I do have a little bit of fallout. Now I don't know if only these particular shades are like this or it is the entire palette, but when I swatch it, they didn't feel as creamy as other Natasha Denona eyeshadows. Now this is more like a monochromatic look if you're going to this row and just applying it. And for the inner corner, I will take this Fleur shade and I will apply it here. It's more like a peachy champagne shade, that one. Next, I think I will go for like a peachy kind of look, because we do have peach and pinks in here, and then a multi-chrome that can be used with any of these like sheer mattes. From here, Kin, it looks like a peach shade, so Kin from here, and I will apply it all over the lid. I'm going to take this Lush shade, I'm going to apply it with my finger. It's more like a peach golden shade, but it is still a peach. Now I will take a little bit of this Bark shade, apply it as in the other, very close to the eyelashes. I love the peach look, to be honest. It's more me. The pink one or like the berry pink one, it's not on my soul, but it is what it is. Now I'm going to take this shade from here. This is called Crisp, and I'll apply that to inner corner. Okay, this is definitely another kind of golden peachy shade. So we have here side by side two makeup looks. I think I will go for another two makeup looks. Let's see what I can realize. Honestly, as I told you, the color story, it's not actually my color story, but this palette, when I look at it, it's somehow for me in a way a little bit hard to combine them. I went for a monochromatic look. It doesn't have to be monochromatic looks. These are the most easiest kind of looks in my opinion. So I went for this kind of shades in here with a little bit of this one for this eye, let's say. And then for the peachy look, I went with this Skin Lush, and then I took a little bit of this golden shade in here, and of course I put a little bit of this brown, which I actually love this one from here very much. This Bark shade, I love it. So these are like simple but different in a way. So if you buy this palette, you might say what I can do with it. So you can go this side or this side. Very simple in a way, very kind of monochromatic, but simple to use. And then I will try to use for the other 2 or 3, I don't know how many I will do it, to be honest, because I do have this brick shade that I do like it, but I don't want to be like a monochromatic look, and I want to use also this multi-chrome. So we'll see what makeup looks will turn out. I will not apply mascara just because I do have to remove the eyes, and they are a little bit sensitive, I don't know why. So it will be this looks without mascara, but more looks probably will come in shorts. So I will remove these two and I'll come back for another two makeup looks. So we are back. I'm going to take this shade and this shade actually combined together, so Petal and Robin, and I'm going to apply them all over the lid. And we are going with this multi-chrome. Now this shade, it is beautiful. Now if Natasha Denona ever will see this video of mine, I want more of this in a midi palette. I think we deserve more of this multi-chrome in a midi palette. It's not just only one that we will buy $69 or 800 something coronas in Sweden for one multi-chrome, because this is stunning. This shade, it is stunning, and this shade I want more of these multi-chromes, at least two, from two above, let's say. I think I will prefer this instead of three kind of matte eyeshadows that for me personally I don't use it, and I think many people won't. I mean, you don't need three. We're like, okay, they are different, but in the end they do the same thing. So that being said, we are taking this beautiful Equinox multi-chrome and we are applying this all over the lid. Now this is what I'm talking. This is what I want from a Natasha Denona midi palette. This is stunning. This is more like one and done eyeshadow. And yes, this looks beautiful. This is sparkle really beautiful in direct sun, and it looks really stunning. I would prefer to have also from this shimmer. It's this and this. They don't perform as beautifully. They are very sheer in a way. They don't sparkle as I want to sparkle. So yeah, I want more from her, just because the color story, I get it. It is nice and beautiful, but I think in the end, at least two. I don't think it is such a like crazy to have two of this multi-chrome. Even if it would be a pink kind of reflecting green, pink, golden kind of multi-chrome, or a peach kind of multi-chrome, not only this. This is actually really stunning. I will stop complaining now. This actually sparkles in blue and silvers in pink. Really beautiful shade, that one. I don't want to take this brick kind of shade and apply it very close to the eyelid. Now I haven't watched, to be honest, what she was creating on her, like when she launched this palette, the makeup looks, and just because it's really okay. This is actually a terracotta kind of brick shade, and apply it with this multi-chrome. It doesn't look bad. I do like it. I think probably another color from here would be a greater match, but if I use this and then I go with this shade or this shade, it will be another monochromatic look. And then probably the best way it will be to go with a peach, to kind of go in other kind of ways. And then I'm going to take again this shade from here and apply it to the inner corner. This is another makeup look, not the most used makeup look probably. I do like it. It is something about it that it makes difference in it. But yeah, we will move on. Like, I'm thinking now to what to do and use. I want to go with this bark shade all over the lid. Want to apply this multi-chrome on top of this brown shade. Now I do like the brown somehow I don't know why, and maybe it is just me, but these eyeshadows doesn't blend as easy as other Natasha Denona eyeshadow. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me, maybe I have just a bad day of makeup, but it is what it is. I will take this Equinox shade and apply it on top, so you can see how this will look on a more darkened base. And I'm also going to blend. Now definitely you can see the shift in blue and purples on this kind of brown shade. Here it is more subtle. So definitely that multi-chrome kind of save the palette as other Natasha Denona that I have, but there always it is one shade that it is really stunning. I can actually make my own custom Natasha Denona only using those eyeshadows, and then adding some mattes that I really like, the formulas from there, and then I have my perfect kind of dream Natasha Denona eyeshadow. You use a brown with a reddish base, you will have this kind of bluish shift, a little bit on the purplish, I would say, but it does look beautiful, and I hope the camera is actually picking up this one. I wish we had in here other kind of inner corner shades that sparkle more. In my opinion, this doesn't sparkle as I'm used to Natasha Denona palette, and we still have this shade to use it. I haven't used this one from the shimmers, which is called Amber, and I think that one will be the final look. Take also this Equinox because it will look different on the inner corner, because it doesn't have that brown base, so it will be a little bit more sheer sparkling, but still in the same kind of vibes. So yeah, definitely you can go and be creative with this palette, playing a little bit with the darker colors, and apply this multi-chrome on different kind of deeper shades, because I think also on this reddish it will look nice, and also on this clover kind of purplish shade it will look beautiful. But I will do more looks, I think, in a short. But we have here a more kind of, I use brick and this one all over the lid with a little bit of this shade from here. It's not unusual kind of makeup look, but somehow I do like it, for me personally. And then I took bark all over the lid, and under this Equinox on top it will actually shift in blue and purple, and then Equinox in the inner corner. So these are the other two makeup looks you can achieve with this. This is how they will look on the eyes. Back for the final look, I will first take this shade, which is called Ren, and I take it with a fluffy brush and I will apply that all over the lid. To take this shade, which we didn't use it, but others I actually use them all. I will take this all over the lid. I'll combine these two, bark and brick, and I'm going under the eye with these two combo. Take the shade Florence from here and I will apply a little bit in the middle, just to give a little bit more luminosity to it. And then I actually will take the multi-chrome with the finger and I will apply it here. And this is the final look. I did add a little bit of Natasha Denona Duo Blush in shade Fresh Mauve. I think it's going perfectly actually with this eye makeup look. My final thoughts, as I told you in the beginning of this video, this palette, the color story of this palette, it's not on my soul. I do like the makeup looks. I do like very much this shade. This brown shade, I like it really much. It is a brown shade with a red base, really beautiful. I think this one, it is that kind of formula cream to powder, because it does blend it really well on the eyes. I did had a little bit of fallout depending on the brush, I guess. However, they blend really well and had no problem, no patchiness. Now, shimmers in here, they don't feel as creamy and they don't look as sparkling as I would want, for me personally. Now, I would prefer to have more diversity. These are like different shades, but somehow when I'm trying to use for the inner corner, for example, they always go on the same kind of vibes. These ones in the inner corner, they will look like a peachy, and then we have this shade which I actually use it here in the middle. It is like a beautiful kind of shade, but these are like the 4 shades that I could actually use them to my inner corner. We have a champagne kind of a champagne golden, but more on the silver side. We have a peach, kind of pink peach champagne shade. We have a golden one, and then we have another peach shade, more peachy. Now these are nice for one and done eyeshadow. However, when I swatch them on my hand and I swatch it again here for you to see with the back camera, they don't sparkle and they don't scream Natasha Denona, in my opinion, shimmers. Or maybe I had just high expectation. This is just a personal kind of viewpoint that I wish this shade, the one that I mentioned, it was different. Now there are a multitude of mini palettes from Natasha Denona. I need a warm, I need a nude, my dream palette, Yaka palette, Rockstar palette, which is a purplish. So it doesn't have to be this one necessarily if you don't like the color theme. Again, I'm repeating myself, this shade is absolutely beautiful. I wish she had at least 2 of these multi-chrome kind of shades. I think we deserve more than one in each palette, because since I'm starting to review Natasha Denona here on YouTube, I realized that in each of every palette that I swatch, there is one shade in particular that is so stunning and amazing, and it does actually save that palette. Even though I don't like the whole palette, I will like it because of one shade. And in this case, it is this one. This one, it is really absolutely beautiful. It is a multi-chrome. It can be applied on a darkened base, can be applied sheer on the eye to look very sparkling, more like a wet kind of look in a way. But I don't think it is worth it to invest and pay $69 or 860 something corons, Swedish corons, for a palette just for one eyeshadow, from my point of view. Because if you do like this color story, if you do like this kind of pink berry, reddish a little bit, and some peach kind of shades, if you are loving this color story, if you know that you are going to use it, then this palette, it is definitely for you. It is a beautiful palette. Now, if you don't have any other Natasha Denona palettes, Love palette, and other kind of reddish in the same vibes, then definitely this one, regarding formula and improvements of how they apply and blend on the eyes, it is a choice if you never used, or if you want to have this kind of color story in a Natasha Denona midi. Now, for me personally, it's not my favorite Natasha Denona palette in terms of color story, in terms of how they sparkles, and in terms of how they apply on the eyes. This is just my personal point of view, and to be honest, when I look to this palette and I like what makeup looks should I create, it was a little bit of struggling, and I paired them in more like a monochromatic way. I will try to, in shorts, to see how like the pinks reddish kind of shade will go with the peachy kind of shade. I did like the combo, the peach with the bark shade, which more like a brown. That one I really like it. It's more like on my soul. So you kind of divide the palette into, you have more like a peachy and this one from here, and then you have the pinks. and the multi-chrome, which will go I guess with any other eyeshadows from here. But yeah, this is just my final thoughts with this one. It is a nice palette. It is just not from my point of view as good as other Natasha Denona palette, probably also because of the color story, because to be honest, if we are buying a palette, then we are buying to use it, and if the color story doesn't speak to me, or only 3 or 4 shades from here are speaking to me and the others are just sitting there, then it is useless to buy a full eyeshadow palette. You can go and try other Natasha Denona midi. Now if you want to purchase this, I think this is available now in any Sephora from Europe, from United States. You can buy it also from Natasha Denona website. I do have a discount code which gives you 15% off. If you want to use it, then I will be really extreme. It's going 15% off for any Natasha Denona items. It doesn't have to be for this one. I will link it in the description box. So yeah, I do like the makeup looks, but not my favorite. As I saw it, I knew that it wasn't going to be so excited for this. I bought it for review purposes, to be honest. If I weren't to be like reviewing on this channel, probably I would waited to see it in actually store and swatch it. But yeah, it is a nice palette. It is a beautiful palette. The colors are nice. If you like this color story, if you know that you are going to use it. But this shade, it is absolutely stunning. So write me in the comments if you want me to compare this one with any other Natasha Denona palettes, or any other like Viseart or Patmograph palettes, and if I have them in my collection, then I will do so. And this is where my video ends for today. I wish you to have a great day and see you next time. Bye bye.